All right, I'm going to go over the online activity for section 5.3 that I gave you last week in class. I posted this in the announcement in Canvas. Unfortunately, I noticed that only one student participated. Remember, for the rest of the term, it seems to be the semester, the classes are going to be online. You need to spend time uh, doing your work like you were in class. Okay, so the only thing is you're doing it from home or from wherever you live. Okay, take the time to do your coursework, and especially in math, is just follow the instructions, check my video lectures, my lecture notes, do these online activities, and then do the homework in my math lab. And I'm going to have live sessions for Q&A, questions and answers. Okay, so let me go over the online activity of last week that we were talking about polynomials. That was the whole idea of section 5.3, polynomial. Okay, for example, problem number 1, they ask you what kind of polynomial is 8x minus 1. The name of a polynomial depends on how many terms it has. And I see I had 2 terms. When you have 2 terms, we call that a binomial. Okay, that's how we call that. That was problem number 1. Problem number 2, they ask you which of these are not polynomial. And to be a polynomial, okay, a polynomial is a sum of terms that look like this. Okay, this is a term. Okay, and a polynomial is when you're adding multiple of these terms. Okay, the exponent of the letter x, okay, or of any variable, is going to be a whole number. In other words, it can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay, the exponent cannot be negative. The exponent cannot be a decimal. The exponent cannot be a fraction. It only can be a whole number. Okay, and that's the exponent of the letter x. The number that is multiplying the x, we call that the coefficient. Okay, and if you check my lecture notes, you're going to see all of these names that were mentioned in there in the lecture notes. So you haven't checked it out, go look and check them out. Read the announcement in Canvas. The number that is multiplying the letter x, we call it the coefficient, and that can be any type of number. Okay, any number, positive, negative, fractions, decimals, any kind of number. So when you look at the 4 choices here, letter A cannot be a polynomial because the exponent of the x is a decimal. And the exponent cannot be a decimal, can only be a whole number. Okay, letter C is also not a polynomial. Why? Because when the letter x is on the denominator of a fraction, okay, that means the exponent is negative. All right, so that's why letter C is also not a polynomial. Only B and D will be the polynomial. Okay. Problem number 3, they ask you to multiply this by FOIL. Okay, you forgot what was FOIL. It was just another way of multiplying. Let me show you that really quick. You have 4x plus 3 times 2y minus 1. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to distribute every term of the first parentheses. You're going to distribute it into the second parenthesis. And the second term, you're also going to distribute it into the second parenthesis. So every term of the first parenthesis distributed into the second parenthesis. So let's start multiplying. 4x times 2y, that will be 8xy. 4x times minus 1, that will be minus 4x. You're done distributing the 4x. Now we're going to distribute the 3. 3 times 2y, that's plus 6y. And 3 times minus 1, that will be minus 3. That's why the correct answer, okay, for that one will be this here. All right. Problem number 4, how do you have polynomials? You combine like terms. That's how you add polynomials, something we learned in week 1. So who's alike with 3x squared in the other parenthesis? 2x squared. Add the numbers in front of the x squares. That will be 5x squared. Who's alike with minus 5x? The plus 7x. Combine them. That will be positive 2x. And then take the plus 7. Who's alike with plus 7? The minus 9. What is plus 7 plus negative 9? That will be minus 2. That's why the correct answer is letter A here. Okay. Let's do the next one. Problem number 5. We're going to subtract polynomial. So how do you subtract polynomial? You're supposed to add the opposite. Let me show you exactly what I mean with that. Add the opposite. So this is the original problem. I'm just writing it out again. Okay. Plus 7m minus 6. And the way you subtract two polynomials is that you're gonna add, see, the subtraction becomes addition. You're gonna add the opposite of these three terms. In other words, switch the sign. The opposite of positive 3m squared, negative 3m squared. The opposite of plus 7m, minus 7m. The opposite of minus 6, plus 6. See, that's the opposite. So I'm going to add the opposite. And then once you add the opposite, in other words, you rewrite this like I did, just combine like terms. So what is 8m squared plus negative 3m squared? 5m squared. Who is alike with minus 7m? This other minus 7m. So I'm going to have minus 14m. And then I have one term left in the second parenthesis, the plus 6. I put it together with my answer. And that's my answer. That's why you can see it's letter B. Okay. Subtract polynomial. Problem number 6. It's the same idea. Okay. I'm going to subtract the polynomial. Let me clean this here. So, okay. So we have here 3x to the 4th. Minus 8x squared plus 1. We need to subtract negative 2x to the 4th plus x to the 3rd plus 3x squared. So how do we subtract two polynomials? We add the opposite. So instead of subtracting, I'm going to add. And I'm going to add the opposite of all of these terms. So the opposite of minus 2x to the 4, positive 2x to the 4. The opposite of plus x to the 3rd, minus x to the 3rd. The opposite of plus 3x squared, minus 3x squared. See, that's what I mean. Add. So the minus becomes addition. The opposite, do the opposite of all of these terms. And then you can start combining like terms. So who's alike with 3x to the 4? 2x to the 4. How much you have between those two? 5x to the 4. Who's alike with minus 8x squared? Minus 3x squared. So that will give me minus 11x squared. All right. Who's alike with the plus 1? Nothing over here. So I just write plus 1. And I still have one term left. The minus x to the 3rd. Anything I like between in these two parentheses with that one? No. So I'm just going to write it out. However, in mathematics and algebra, we like to put the terms in order by the exponent. So I'm going to put in decreasing order. Highest exponent first, second highest next, the next highest next, and finally, whatever you have left. And that's why you see here. This is the answer you see there. Okay. They ask you in number 7, what do you do with these two binomials, 3x plus 1, x minus 2, so you get 3x squared minus 5x minus 2. If you add them, see, let's say I had these two, 3x plus 1 and x minus 2. If I add these two polynomials, I will never get 3x squared. So the only way I can get 3x squared from these two polynomials is that I'm multiplying. If you multiply 3x squared by x squared, you get 3x squared. That's the only way you can get that. That's why it's multiplication. Okay. And the next one, problem number 8, is the same kind of question. What do you do with these two polynomials? So you get 2x plus 3. Now, if I multiply, I already know if I multiply, I'm going to get 3x squared. So I'm not multiplying. Now I want to get 2x at the beginning here. So the only way I can do that is if I'm subtracting 3x and x. Because if I'm adding, I get 4x. The only way I can get the 2x is by subtracting. Okay, that's what I'm trying to show you how you do this. And the last one, using the same two binomials, what will you do between these two? So you get 4x minus 1. And the only way I can get the 4x in this binomial is if I take these two and I add them. Okay, so once again, you need to do your work on your own time. The classes are now online. So be disciplined with yourself to complete the work. Okay, keep reading the emails, keep checking the Canvas announcements so you can do well in the class with whatever time we have left at this semester. Hope this helps.